Hey everybody, welcome to our weekend check-in video for PSY-45 research methods for Saturday, February 25th. And like I always do, just going to go over a few reminders, clarifications, anything I think you need to know to stay on top of things in our course. So let's get started. First up here is I did post feedback earlier this week on the first part of your APA style literature review paper. That first component was your topic, thesis statement, and a list of 10 references in APA style. So do take a look at that feedback. If you had any issues that I was trying to bring to your attention that you need to correct, please do so, because the errors that most of you had are very easily remedied. So don't take that feedback as an attack on you, but rather just it's constructive feedback, and I give you enough detail so you can easily fix those problems, and do fix those problems, again, because they're easily remedied, and I don't want to see you get dinged for the same points on the next parts of the paper just because you didn't bother to fix it. So do take the time to remedy those problems. Next up here is at part 2 of your paper, your outline for your literature review paper. The instructions for that are in component 2, which you'll find again in that APA literature review module there underneath unit 5 of our course material. So scroll down past unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and under there you'll see the APA module. Take a look at the instructions for component 2. Just like you found for part 1, at the very top of the instructions for this outline, there's a little how-to video. It's about 10 minutes. I walk you through in a show and tell way and basically help you figure out what you need to do. So definitely check that out. It's very useful. Also there, make sure you incorporate any feedback that I provided for you from part 1 there. So if I told you there were some issues with your references, make sure you fix that. As I said just a moment ago, again, those things are easily remedied there. And for this outline, you will especially find it helpful to examine the samples. I've put up a number of samples this time for this part of the paper, so do take a look at those outlines. Some of those samples are kind of like the good, the bad, the ugly, so you can see what a bad one looks like versus what a good one looks like. So I think it's very important to have a model to work from, to base your own work upon. So definitely take the time to do that. You'll be glad that you did. It'll make your life feel a lot less stressful. You just have to trust me on that. And also make sure in your outline, part of your outline is you have to start developing some content for your final paper, so in an outline format. And as part of that, you need to cite every one of your 10 references at least one time. There are specific formatting guidelines for APA style citations. If you go back to your pocket guide to APA style in chapter 5, where they have a 5A is a very good section there on how to generate the reference for a research article. Beneath that, though, they show you there, it's pretty handy in the pocket guide, right below the formatting for the reference, in your reference list, they show you what's called an in-text or in-paragraph citation. And so it shows you what the citation should look like. Mostly it's just the author name followed by a year of publication and a page number if you are quoting. And so do take a look at that. You'll also find those in the sample outlines there too, so do take a look at the citations. Key thing, you got to cite at least every reference one time. And also when you provide citations of your references there, do not just put quote after quote of material from the source. A little bit of quoting is okay, but what I don't want to see is block after block of quote in your outlines, because as I say in the instructions, and I'll give you in the feedback if you end up doing this incorrectly, is that quoting isn't writing. So make sure that you paraphrase properly, but also some quoting is okay, just don't overdo it there. You'll find at the bottom of the instructions for the outline, just like you found at near the bottom for the part 1 instructions, what's called a rubric. A rubric basically is a grading scheme. It's how I'm going to award you points that you earned or deduct points because of mistakes. So do take some time to look at that rubric. It'll really help you out. And again, take a look at the samples so you can at least know what things look like, so you can avoid any major mistakes in your outline. It's really worth your time. Next, and by the way, that's due on Thursday, March 9th. So it's still a little ways out there, but it can't hurt to get started on it there, so keep that in mind. Next up here, most recently in Chapter 6 on samples and populations, the discussion for that closed yesterday. Most of you did a really great job on why it's either a blessing or a curse to use college students in psychological research, so I was pleased to see the comments there. Also, next week we're going to be working on Chapter 7, which is the experimental research strategy. It's our first strategy chapter, because Chapter 6 was our last table setting chapter. Chapter 7 is our first official research chapter. Here's the strategy called the experimental strategy, so check that out. Really great stuff there. And you'll find a little special item there in the unit module for the Chapter 7 material. There's a link to a video about placebo effects. It's about 5 or 6 minutes long. It's really great. It'll totally blow your mind in terms of what we thought placebos do to people. And do we need to worry about telling people they're on a placebo or not? It really turns everything upside down. It's a fascinating video. And it's kind of funny, too, so check it out. It's from a CBS News report. You'll really be glad you did. It's really a great video. Every time I show it in class, people almost applaud for it. It's really great, so check it out. Your discussion for Chapter 7 and quiz is due next Friday, March 3rd, so we're easing into March here at the end of February. And don't forget that time differential. The discussion is due at 9 p.m. Your quiz is due at 11:59 p.m. I'm sure you all know that by now, but just reminding you. Otherwise, we have our live session scheduled at Monday at 11 a.m., so please come if you can. You got any questions? It's basically open office hours, and otherwise I make a set of remarks like I'm making right now. Definitely make sure you're watching those lecture videos, especially for Chapter 6 and 7. There's a lot of important concepts there that you need to know that'll really help you the rest of the course. So remember, the videos are 10 to 15 minutes long, so it's not like this unbroken 3-hour video. There I break them down into segments I label, and you can skip through, fast forward, rewind, whatever you want to do. So take advantage of those because it's really important, because sometimes the book just isn't enough to get stuff across. So that's why they're there for you. Otherwise, we've got our Unit 2 exam coming up, not this next week, but the following week there on March 6th through March 8th. So that's a Monday through a Wednesday, so just kind of keep that in mind. You'll get a reminder announcement on Canvas to help you prep for that, and don't forget you've got your study guide there to get you ready for that, and also your mind tap assignments will be due on Sunday, March 5th, right before the exam opens up on the 6th, so just keep all that in mind there. Some of you have been working on your mind taps already because I can see what you're doing, so that's great to see. All right, that was everything I wanted to say for this time. If you need anything in the meantime, reach out via email on Canvas, and I'll be glad to address your concerns. Otherwise, I will see you in those lecture videos, and I'll see you here next week. All right, bye-bye until then.